Welcome to Memorial Stadium. It is the California Spring Showcase on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Strawberry Canyon. Yes, we're in Berkeley for some Cal football, wrapping up the spring, their 15th and final practice. And
don't touch them.
So these are basically the ones going against the ones, at least for today. Now, Jaden Ott is not playing. There's a whole group of players that are being held out just because they're not needed. It's Fernando Mendoza, deep shot, and Tron Grizel with the catch, and he emerged last year as a big play threat. Marcus Harris has had a great spring, the transfer from Idaho, and the coaches are ecstatic about what he's done this spring. Unfortunately, those guys will not play, so you won't see him as Javian Thomas, the Jet, takes the handoff, and he's swallowed up by the front of the Cal defense. Lit 6 and white with Correa on the stop. And this is a third down play for Fernando Mendoza. And the RPO is a handoff, and Javian Thomas down to the 10-yard line. The burst that he's got, he will factor in behind. Look, Jaden Ott's the clear number one.
Yeah.
But there is strong competition as Mendoza's pass complete to Jeffrey Johnson right near the marker. But there's going to be stiff competition just because he doesn't need to play.
Nothing to prove.
Justin Williams-Thomas goes in motion, and Chandler Rogers pass out in the flat to Williams-Thomas, takes a big hit, and he keeps driving forward. Jair Smith, the JC transfer. Kadarius Caldwell is another one, the transfer from Old Dominion, who began his college career at Alabama, will also factor in to the Cal running game. As driving the pile forward is Justin Williams-Thomas. And
what I like about this room is that there are different types of running backs as well. They're not all the same type of running back. You got some variety in that room.
So here's Chandler Rogers, has some speed. Again, the quarterback, you're not hitting him today. Luke Farrelly, a true freshman for Cal. Mendoza's an athletic quarterback, and he can make plays, but Chandler Rogers has elite athleticism.
Yeah, it's all about extending plays, right? Can you make something out of nothing? That's what Rogers does. Mendoza can do it too. He does it in his own way, but Rogers showing some speed there.
He also ran for 4 touchdowns, and Rogers last year was second in the American Conference in passing yards.
Yeah, I listened to him speak the other day, and he says, look, football is football. The terminology might be different here.
You're coming to a place that has a starting quarterback. A lot of guys who have 1 year left are looking to go specifically to a place where, you know what, I want to go play. There's the opportunity to play there. And that's not necessarily going to happen here. It's a competition.
Yeah.
And he said, look.
Yourself up for success. Being a quarterback and saying, okay, I'm going to go join that team because there isn't a quarterback. But it says something about your character when you're willing to go to a place where they have a quarterback and compete for your job.
Then ended up at Old Dominion. And last year he led the Sun Belt in average yards per carry, over 7 yards a carry for Callaway, who had a huge game against Marshall.
Whoever is the number 2 running back, a guy who can just step in, do what they have to do. Beautiful counter look right there by Callaway, making moves. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
How about that jump cut that Callaway just made? So this is the number 1 offense against today's number 1 defense. I need to put, quotes around it. As Mendoza taking a deep shot. Tron Grizel trying to come back for it, and Colin Gamble breaks it up.
Good breakup right there, Grizel.
And it's a deeper, faster receiver room for Burl Toller, Cal's wide receiver coach. That's Mikey Matthews, the transfer from Utah, who had a solid freshman year for Kyle Whittingham and the Utes last season. And Messiah Martin, who's a true freshman who enrolled in January, is another guy that just keeps making plays throughout the spring. And they feel, when you see number 17 out there in blue today, he's going to have an opportunity to make plays in the fall. That is it.
Some young guys, great mix of talent.
And Meriwether from Camas, Washington, was an ESPN top 300 recruit out of high school. Went to Notre Dame for a couple of years. That is Josiah Martin on the end around. The freshman from Texas.
Stretch a defense. Those safeties have to know where number 5 is at all time. You talk about his track accolades. I watched this young man run. It's so smooth. Once he opens up that stride, man, it looks like he's barely even trying. So, again, add another dynamic to the game.
And it's 3rd and short now. This is the number 2 offense for today. Again, for today. Don't read anything into Chandler Rogers. He's just with this group today. Underneath, that's Cole Basha with a 2nd catch. And Basha got some playing time, played in coming back to the Bay Area and transferring to Cal for an opportunity here as Chandler Rogers will keep And again, when the quarterback keeps it today, it's kind of inconsequential because you can't touch him. Look, we rattled off about 8 or 9 names, bump at receiver. When you get to the fall, realistically, how many guys do you think Mike Blesh can have in the mix? It's a nice adjustment and catch by Maven Anderson.
Petition.
And specific packages also could factor in, as this is Byron Cardwell again on the carry. And picks up a couple and runs into a gang of defenders led by Murphy Glasgow, the red deep as well. A couple of key guys that are not here just yet. As Chandler Rogers looking for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Looking for Marquez Dortch, Mays Bryant in coverage.
2023.
So this is the 4th and 1 competition. It started at the 41-yard line. And there's the Jet, Javian Thomas. He gets across the goal line. He is in for a touchdown. And that was an interesting spike by the sophomore from Oakland. But so this competition now, they're going to spot the ball at the 41. That was the first offense against the first defense. And you saw the push right there, and sealing it was TJ Session on the edge, and Fernando Mendoza trying to help drag, which is legal now. Javian Thomas into the end zone, so the 1. And that's the key of this drive. But at any point, the defense gets a stop on 4th and 1. It's over. The defense wins the drive. And just like that, the defense won this. Stanley Saole McKenzie, the junior from Honolulu. Let's stay with that group because it's really interesting. And the twos are getting another run of it here. And that is Kadarius Callaway. And he didn't get it. Another stop for the defense. And there is Aaron Hampton one more time.
With the receivers. So big ups to Andrews and his involvement in that program.
So some more goal line and red zone drills, and that is Tobias Merriweather, the touchdown catch from Fernando Mendoza, the transfer from Notre Dame.
It's always nice where you can get a one-on-one matchup with a 6'5" receiver and just toss it up to him and have him make a play. Nice little safety blanket out there. I know a lot of offensive coordinators who don't, right? We got Woodson, who's not playing today. We got Harris as well, more. But in this day and age, the way the game is being played, you have to be solid on the back end. You got to be solid everywhere. But if you can eliminate
Williams, who could factor in as a starting safety, Marcus Scott, the Missouri transfer, Matthew Littlejohn, who had some success in the nickel position last year, and that is a group that.
So he's taking advantage of an opportunity, but you're right, man. The first line of defense is in the box. Secondaries clean everything else up.
And they ripped that one away as Mays Bryant pulls it away from Marquez Dortch, who bobbled it. And that is another takeaway for the Cal defense. And the turnover story from a year ago.
Football. The ball is thrown. Yeah, you rally. And sometimes you get lucky. Right place, right time. Or sometimes you just take it in your own hands and say, give it a rock and get busy with it. So, again, on defense, you have to be aggressive.
Noah Williams at one corner, then a battle between Harris and Lamajia Hearns on the other side.
Yeah, and again, battle was good, right? And there's a couple of ways you can look at this transfer portal and guys bouncing around.
The Colorado native. But there is Marcus Harris. You just saw him and had a great run at Idaho. And speaking of runs, a touchdown for Dean Taylor Chapman, the redshirt freshman from San Leandro. But there's a look at Harris, and you see this length, which is what you love to see from a cornerback.
And when you got those long arms, there's a couple things you can do. You can
think that still, even though you feel good about it right now, but that has to be a concern for the Cal coaching staff, considering the injuries that group has dealt with for the last couple of years. Defensive lineman Nate Burrell is not playing today. Derek Wilkins, Zurich Ashford, those are 4 guys as Aaron Hampton runs down Josiah Martin there near the sideline. But some of the guys that are playing, redshirt freshman Tiumalu Afalava. Cal's excited for potentially what he could bring. So there are numbers right now, but again, and I don't think with Fernando Mendoza, and those two complement each other pretty well, and they work well in unison. And look, a lot of times, Bump, you get in these battles, and whoever wins the job well, I'll press you to get better, and that's better for the team.
Yeah, I think that's very mature of them, because when you are in a battle like this, there's only one quarterback out there at a time. I've been in battles with receivers.
As we welcome in Jaydn Ott to the festivities here on Pac-12 Network and the Cal Spring Football Showcase. All right, since it was just thrown out there, look, I know you watch the NFL too, Jaydn. Do you see this?
Well, hopefully he's okay, you know, but as well as Jet and the young guys like Dean and the new freshmen coming in, like we got a wide variety of skills, and I'm excited to see it. Man, like I've made this my home.
And you've been actively involved in the community too, which is a great thing, Jaydn, and to be involved with the Cal Summer.
My mom did the same with me, Jaydn, so I feel you. But I ended up liking it. Ended up liking reading. Did you have a favorite book coming up?
Yeah, no, see, I started a reading challenge, and like I said, I didn't like reading, but I wound up reading all the offseason, preparing for this upcoming season, learning our identity as a new team, which is something, you know, that could be hard, especially nowadays with the transfer portal, and so that we don't have the same mishaps that we did last year.
Man, I've really enjoyed watching you run the rock these past couple years, man, and I do a lot of shows with Shane.
Second play, or the first play of the game was bad. I think it was a tackle for a loss. When I thought I was going to hit the crib first play, but then I saw the look that the defense gave us on the second play, and again, I was like, man, this dude.
No doubt. How about you? You were going to interview Craig, I know that, but how about Woodson? Does he like to keep it running out there on the field too?
Who?
Craig Woodson. I think a little bit, yeah.
all those dudes catch the smoke.
You guys have obviously had some snaps with Mendoza, man. What are your thoughts on Rodgers so far?
I love Chandler, man. That guy could sling the rock. And he's been great with the tight ends.
Ready next time. I got it.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Jaydn Ott, Jack Endries, who really the only work they did today was with us because they were held out of the spring with as well. So and they played Auburn last year, so a chance to go into SEC country, and a game that I think of, you know, some of the losses that Cal had, those heartbreaking losses, and there were a few of them last year.
Situations like the red zone and in the 4th and 1 and stuff, just to get more familiar with it. And it's all about executing when the other team is prepared for what you like to do and make big plays like we just saw right there in the end zone.
That is converted linebacker to tight end Nate Ruchina. And like Jack Endries from Danville, off the pass from Belai Brummel, the redshirt freshman walk-on quarterback from West Chicago. But Nate Ruchina switching sides of the ball. And initially, and I talked to Justin Wilcox Bump about this, and he said close it out with Stanford, and then the game after Thanksgiving at SMU to close out the regular season. The pass tipped in the end zone, and breaking it up was Jair Smith. They're the JC transfer, but
and I don't wear blue and gold glasses.
Yeah, the excitement that Cal finished the season with last year to get to a bowl game, and we'll see what it means. And a transformation for Cal football going to the fall. A lot more travel, as you saw on that schedule. I want to thank everybody involved with Pac-12 Network today. Our production for the Cal Football Spring Showcase. For everybody in the studio, as well as here working a long day at Memorial Stadium. For Michael Bumpus and our Pac-12 Network crew, Roxy Bernstein, thanks for joining us for the Cal Football Spring Showcase from Memorial Stadium.